glad you stopped by. I wanted to let you know this is the second part of the video that I've already made, and I will have the link below for the first video that showed you how to put these pumpkins together and how to put them on this little canvas backing. In this video, I'm going to do a little bit more embellishment on the pumpkin canvases, and I'm going to show you how to create this cute little easel that you can set them on. They actually stand up, and you can actually set these right on your little canvas. Your canvas can sit right on these little easels, just like that. So let's get going. Okay, this is part 2 of making the pumpkin easel. And what I'm going to be doing to begin with is I'm going to do a little bit embellishing, and then we're going to go ahead and make the easel. So the first thing I'm going to use is this distressed grit paste called Crypt. It's new this year for Halloween, and it is like I said, it's grit, and it's more of a gray color instead of the white you get with the other paste. That's the grit paste. Anyway, I thought the gray would go really well with the pumpkins in the background. It actually looks like cement, and with a little bit of pepper in it. So the color works really well because I've got the little bit of the black and the gray in the background. So all I'm going to do is just add a little bit of texture. I don't even really honestly need my spatula. I could have really just used my finger. But I want to give it a little bit more of a creepy look. And like I said, it's really kind of cool. It almost looks like cement. And it's got the right color gray. It's perfect. So, and you can already see I added some cheesecloth to the background. And all I did was I just glued that on the back. And now I just wanted to add a little bit more texture and some more creepy. So I'm not going to go all the way down because I'm going to put a sentiment down there. But there's not a lot that I'm putting on, just a little. I think I'll put some down here. I do know where I'm going to be putting the sentiment, so I know like where I'm not going to be adding that. So you can just see it just gives it a little bit of a texture and a little bit of a creepy. It's kind of a creepy cute project. So like I said, if you want to be more specific, you could really just use your fingers on here in the paste. Okay. And this stuff will just dry hard and kind of almost like cement in a way. Okay, I think I can put a little bit at the bottom. All right, so we've got that look. I'm going to go ahead and clean this off, and I'll be right back. Okay, so next up is I am using some We Are 3 paper. This is called Cute Halloween. So is this background here. All of this is actually Cute Halloween from the Cute Halloween collection. And all I did was I wanted to use some of the boos, so I just printed off a little bit, and then I cut them out so they can be my sentiment. And then I also used a sentiment from We Are 3, and that collection is called Autumn Greetings. And this one is There You Go Again, Even Making the Pumpkins Smile. So all I'm going to do is use some glue. Hopefully my glue is actually, I might have to pop, yeah, I usually have to pop it just a little bit to get it started. There we go. And I just want some on the one side. There it goes. And I'm going to set that right here. And it is a little bit on top of that grit paste that's still wet. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue one of the boos up above. that's all I'm going to do for that one, and let the grit paste dry. And then for this one, same concept. I don't remember if I think, yeah, I'm going to do it down here. There we go. And then I'm going to add a boo to that one too. All right, so both of those are done. So the next thing we're going to work on, we'll let those dry, is the easel, like I told you. And again, I'm going to remind you of what die this one is. And this one is Spellbinders, and it's DOML August 20. 3D still life easel and canvas. We made the canvas in the first video when I was doing the pumpkins, and I will again have that link down below in the description. So what you are going to be using in this particular video is we're going to be using, this is called the leg, and the directions are on the back. And there's also a Spellbinders video showing how to put this together. But I'm going to go ahead and show you how I put it together in here, just so that you know what we're doing. So what they want you to do is actually cut out 5 of these, of whatever color you want your easel to be. And I decided to do craft, but then when I understood what it was they were wanting me to do, I realized I didn't have to cut out, what did I say, 5. I could cut out 3, or actually I cut out 4, and then I just cut out the piece that I knew that I was going to be needing. And it'll make sense as we go. So I'm going to pull out 2, just like I said, and put the other 3 to the side. Now, one of the things I'm going to show you that I don't feel like, well, I kind of show you in the Spellbinders video, but I want you to really notice, is there are what I call score lines, okay? Do you see that little score line that curves? It actually is the same line as the bottom of this one. There's also little dashes, and you can see these little dashes throughout, okay? Those are important because for these other 3, although let me just back up to the 3, because for these other 3 there are pieces that we need. So for this one with a curve on the bottom, you can go ahead and cut this out, the full piece, and then just hand cut this curve, and it'll show you. The next one will be one that's, just like that, that's full. Well, I take that back. I did not cut this back yet, so I still need to cut this back. So, and I'll come back to that. Then there's another one. You can see the lines. Well, maybe, let me see if I can make it show up better on here. There is a way you can see the line. You can see the lines for real. Anyway, there's a line here, and there's a line here, and there's a line here. You're going to need one that goes from the bottom, not the curved line, but the bottom line, which is right there, and then the next line up, all the way up. And then you're going to do one from here to here. I'll cut it out and you'll see what I'm saying. It sounds kind of crazy when I'm just talking. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do the legs. Sorry that I'm confusing you, but I'm explaining to you why you're going to want to cut out 5 and how you don't have to cut out the 1 if you don't want a full one. So, obviously, whenever you get a die and they have perforations in them, that means to crease them. And that's exactly what you need to do for this die. Every single one you crease in, because you're going to end up making, well, let me show you. You're going to end up making these legs, and they basically are kind of like, I don't know how to explain to you, they are hollow on the inside, but they work really well. So anyway, they're going to go inside itself and end up making like a square. It's just like a square leg. It's like a 2x4, but it's paper. So you're going to say, what side goes inside, right? This side right here is skinnier than these on this side. So I decided to put the glue on that side. They really don't tell you. So, but that's what I did, and it seemed to work fine. So you can use glue, like I am, or you can use your tape, whatever you prefer. But this seemed to work just fine. And again, you got to have that roll on top of itself. Well, actually, you know what? Here we go. Okay, so you line that up. Yeah, you're going to get glue in your fingers. It's just going to happen. So what I actually did is I did this at first, and when I did it the first time, I thought, oh, well, I'll just keep it so that it's hollow. But guess what? If you get that lined up really well, you can smash that in half and make sure that glue gets adhere really well. Do you see what I'm saying? I just smashed it, and it's glued together. Now watch. You can pop it right back out. And we know that that glue is really connected well. That's one leg. We're going to do it again. Again, like I said, remember this skinniest piece is a piece that's going to go on the inside, because all these other ones are the same size, pretty much. Okay. So, yep. I'm going to do this piece right here. And basically that's how this die really goes. It takes time just for cutting things out, and then you got to take your time rolling it up. So it's just like rolling it up. Just roll that up. You can see, I don't know, the best way I can show you is just rolling it up. All right, and I want to make sure that that's more even. And so like I said, and then all I'm gonna do is smash that down and make sure that glue is really firmly attached. And then I'm gonna pop that back up, just like that. See, it's smashed, and then pop it back up. All right? So those are our first two legs. Now, the next thing they want you to do with these legs is, you can see at the top, there's a little bit of an indentation. That indentation is like a crease, and that's just gonna, it'll bend right really perfectly for you, and that's gonna go on the inside of that. So I'm gonna show you again. It's longer than your piece. There's a little crease, perfect crease. You just bend it, and it's gonna go on the inside. You just put a little bit of glue on that. Okay, and you pinch it till it adheres a little bit, and then now you've got your perfect leg. All right, you're gonna do the same to this other leg. Again, bend that slightly, right where that crease is. Put a little bit of glue on the top. Push that in. Hold it till it sets just a little bit. And we're good, okay? Then what they want you to do is take these two pieces and join them together, just like an easel. So in order to do that, you need to put some glue on one side and put these two pieces together and hold them together. Now, what I did is, because I had a clothespin, is I went and got my clothespin and I pinched it, and I let that set. So while that is setting, I'll put that to the side, we're going to continue on with the rest. All right, so just like I said, we need, of the three that are left, okay, we need one that gets cut off right like that at the bottom. So I need my scissors. Now this will be the back of the easel, holding the easel up. Okay, we don't need this piece. Now we're going to do the exact same thing we did with the legs at the beginning, and it's because it's the exact same piece. We're going to crease all those. Okay. All right, now the piece that's the smallest piece is right there. I'm going to put glue on that. Now there's a difference for this one. You know, you're going to think you're going to do the exact same thing that you did for the legs. Nope. Other than putting this together like we did, but to join it, we do not. I get that to roll around. Okay. All right, and I'm going to do it again, smash that down, make sure I can get that glue tight. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to pop it back open. All right, we have the exact same back piece, okay? And you see how this is back here? We're not gluing that on. We're not going to glue that on at all because that will give us the movement for the back. If we glue this down, it will not give us the movement. So we're only going to be putting glue on this part right here. Let me show you that again. We are not going to glue this top part down like we did for the legs at all. We're just going to glue this part right here. And that's going to go in the back of what we've got together. But wait a second. We're going to keep that to the side, okay, because I'm waiting for that to dry. So the next one, remember I told you there was one more that we needed to do. And there are lines in this one as well. There's an indentation. I'm going to get my die just so that you can see. There's an indentation there. Let's get a little bit closer to that. There's an indentation right there. And then there's indentation here and here. The one we're going to do first, I'll put it the same way. The one we're going to do first is the longest one. And that's that one right there. So that piece will come off. We don't need that. And then this piece up here at the top. We don't need these pieces at the top anymore. Basically, all we're making is just a straight piece. Okay? So what you do with this piece is it's just going to be, well, I don't know how to explain. It's part of the, oh, here's the best way to show you. It's this part right down here is what we're making next. And that's what holds your canvas on your easel. So basically it's the same concept, except for now we're just going to have one of those little, like shelf. I'm going to call it a little shelf. I guess that's the best way to say it. They're calling it bracket. And I call it a shelf. So we're just going to do the same thing. You're going to glue that. Whoops. And roll that inside, just like we did before. Except for it makes a difference if you have enough glue to hold it together. Okay. And then we could pop that back open. And that will be your bottom bracket to hold your canvas on your easel. And then the last piece. And remember I told you, you really don't need to cut a full one of these out to get what you need for your last piece, which is going to be this top bracket or top shelf, whatever you want to call it. And so again, on here they have the little indentations, or like I said, whatever you call score lines that you need. And I'm going to go ahead and show you. I just cut out that much so I would make sure that I got that piece in there. So anyway, it's sometimes kind of hard to see these indentations, but I know for a fact this is just straight across the top, because we just don't need those pieces at the top when we're making a shelf. And then this piece right here has to go to here. So I'm just going to cut a little bit of that off. The indentation is not showing up for some reason. But that's exactly what I need, pretty much. And it doesn't really matter. It's just a bracket that goes on top, and it's not like a precision thing. It's just to hold your canvas on. So again, I have folded all those pieces, and the smallest one I'm going to put the glue on. I think this is really, really, really cute. And like I said, if you don't glue this piece down, it's still a little bit of a bulk, but it's not that bad. You probably could really put it in an envelope, a bubble envelope, and send it. All right, so I did the exact same thing, flattened that down, and then I'm going to pop it back open. Okay? All right, so now I have all the pieces I need to make my easel, and this is dried. And the next thing that they had you do, which I think really makes it cute, is they have this part of a die. And this die is just decorations for the top of your easel. So what I use is a mirrored card that looks like it is copper. And all they want you to do is, like I said, it's decoration. It even looks like there's screws in it. They want you to put that at the top. Line that up with the top that you made. That to me is just a way to secure those two pieces to make sure they stay together. And you're going to want that to dry. Okay? They want you to put it on the back as well. And at this point, there isn't really a front or a back to this. And the only time it ends up having a back is once you put the back on your easel. It's really cute. All right, I'm going to show you this closer so you can see how it has. Just a minute. I had some glue on my fingers, so it kind of, thumb rather. I want you to see the screws. They're really kind of cute. So that's your A-frame for your easel. And then now all you're going to do is, remember I told you this is the back. We're not putting the glue here like we did for the legs. This is the back. And all we're doing is we're putting the glue here. And like I said, again, that's so this will bend. So we're going to line that up with that. And that's going to have to stay on there to dry. You want to kind of line that up so it looks like it's in the center. You can see what I'm saying. As best you can. And I'm actually going to use my tool, my paper piercing tool, to make sure that adheres good by rubbing that across back and forth. All right, now that's got to dry. But I'm just going to show you why this is important for that piece just there. Now this wiggles back and forth. See how it wiggles? If we would have glued that piece down, it would not have allowed it to wiggle back and forth. And you really want it to wiggle back and forth. So it'll stand up just like that. I'm going to slide that over a little. My glue works really well. Once it dries, it dries. All right, so with this particular, I made an adjustment. They want you to use this piece right here. And they want you to join this piece to the bracket that you made for the front, or the little shelf. I found that it was a little bit too snug for me. You can go ahead and use it if you'd like. What I ended up doing is I got out a piece of my twine. And I cut a piece about, I think it was, hold on. It was about 6 inches. I cut 6 inches. And then what I did is I made a knot on one end. And I'm going to make a knot on this end. I want it to actually equal 4 inches. So then I put my other knot on, and then I measured the knot to the knot so that it's about 4 inches, and it is. So then I'm just going to trim off that excess. Okay? Then what I need is to get my glue gun out. And my glue gun I will hot glue it to here in the middle of this bottom bracket or shelf, whatever you want to call it. And I will glue gun that, and I will glue gun it the other end to the part that hangs in the back. And I'll show that to you in my other one. There is a score line that goes all the way across that I use to put this on. I line it up with that score line. And that's how I glue that on. And I can do that right now. Again, you're not gluing it onto this, okay? You're just gluing it onto the legs. Just like that. And then you get your piece and you set that down. And you gotta let that dry, which is what I'm gonna do, and then I'll be back. But I'm gonna let that dry first. And then I'm gonna, you have to kind of like, I measure with what I make. And I set this on, and then I put the other piece at the top. So I'm going to show you my finished one as this is drying so you understand. So this is my finished piece. Okay? So you can understand what happened. So there's a piece at the top, a piece at the bottom. I call those like, this is like the little shelf, and then this is a part, and it helps secure the canvas to stay on. This is the part I told you in the back. I hot glue gun the one knot to this side and to this other side. I'm going to show you that again. Okay? That's how I do it. Now, and then it'll just sit there. Now they have a shorter piece of paper that they put between. And if that's what you want to try first, you'd go for it. I did. I took it off, and I ended up putting this little piece of twine. And I found that it worked better for me. It was too short the way they wanted it to go. And again, I'm going to show you this piece, how it's movable. See, if you glue that on, it's stationary, and this cannot be moved. Now, maybe you want it to be stationary, fine. But here's the deal. If you keep it like this, it's flat, and it can be moved, or mailed rather. However, if you keep yours glued back here, you won't be able to mail this very well. Okay? Because that's stationary. It's up to you. So that's how that's going to go. I'm going to go ahead and show you, because this one is finished. You don't really need to see me finish that one. This is how this works. It slides right in there, just like that. It's so cute. And then, like I said, because it fits in there, and this is kind of like securing it at the top, it just sets. And you can set that on your mantle. It's so, I mean, you can set it on your mantle, you can send it out, you can put it wherever you want to. It's super cute. Now, one other thing they tell you, say you don't want the easel at all, you still have the canvas. And the canvas can actually be put on a card. And it's super cute that way too. So, I'm trying to make sure, I think I've told you everything, showed you how that worked. The only thing you needed that you did not see is me actually physically gluing this to the top, which is not hard to do. You just, like I said, basically, right here, you basically set this on top, and you get your little bracket for the top, and you put it right up against it, and you glue it in. That's it. And then that stays there. And then the other thing, like I told you I did, which I preferred, was to use this twine gluing on the front and the back. Again, I'll have the link to the Spellbinders directions and how they put their easel together. But I just wanted you to see what I did in order to create this Halloween project. I really appreciate you stopping by, and I hope you give this a try. It's super fun. Thanks so much.